one job, and everything is gonna be okay.
So I bought some stuff the other day. I bought this 312 out of a T-Bird probably, but it was for a 56 Crown Vic. That's what the person was trying to put it in, or I don't know what happened with that project. But anyways, I ended up with just a slew of parts from it. It has the Ford-O-Matic automatic transmission. With it, I bought a 39 Ford Standard. The Standard came with the 38 front end. The Deluxe came with the more 40 style front end. That's it. That's where she goes. When you know, you know. And when you know, then that's where she goes. You can see we're going to get our drive line down in there. That's enough room for that. And then our center has enough room there. Our radiator is going to be here, so that gives us enough room for a fan, because I hate electric fans, especially on old school jalopies. Alright, there's our jalopy firewall. Turned out pretty good. I'm happy with it. Corners turned out good. Welds turned out good. Nice and tight. Did a gusset on each side, just for when I'm at peace of mind when I'm doing 90 miles an hour down the highway. That was a joke, Karen. Calm down. There she is. You can see kind of what you'd see from the back. Doesn't hang down too low. It's going to kind of suck to have the fuel line right there, but kind of put the little maybe like a P-trap looking loop to where it just goes straight back and then goes over, so you don't really see it. And that's what you see from the inside. And so, you know, open the trunk, put in your fuel, and go get some girls. There's our reservoir, our pedal. It hits the frame, but it would hit the firewall anyways. So that's going to be enough throw, I imagine, for that. Looks like a good position. Plenty of room for the fuel or the gas pedal. So that's kind of what we're going to end up with here. We can see we got the linkage in a lot tighter to the trans. Shifter should be somewhere around here. I think that'll work with anybody, whatever height you are. And because I'm not building it entirely just for myself, I'm built to sell. But I think that'll work. Ooh, yeah. It just went up in value at least 65 cents, 80 cents maybe. I actually love those old mismatched colored wheels. Perfect for this jalop. I've enjoyed building this. Doesn't have the pressures of all my regular jobs. I can kind of just wing it and do some, you know, foobahs and BS to just make things happen instead of making it correct. You know, just kind of a fun car. Fun car. I've made these little rails that I've ran around the trans tunnel opening here, and then I cleaned up the cuts on the inside here, so the floor is even in better shape than ever. I keep on calling it a jalopy, and it still is, but I keep on making it nicer and nicer. But what this will do is it'll make it to where this can be bolted in, so I can just take out my Tech screws and this unbolts off if you need to access it, and it bolts back on. And it also gives me a place to weld, spot weld or full weld the cover here. These are a pain in the butt. They always are. It's a compound curved piece, you know. a lot of this we might be able to do in like one kind of curve here, but then it gets a little more complicated up in here. And I might try to keep this low and then hump up rather than just going from here down to here, although I might just do that. Either way, I think we're gonna have enough room in here for our feet and whatnot.
Hey, hit it!
I'd like to take it to a show called the Bow Huff Show in Sunnyside, Utah. Small show that you probably never heard of, but I've been going to it since I was pretty young. I'd like to take this car there, so it's a long drive. We would do it in 2 days. So I'd like to get it ready and a little better looking for the show. Right now though, it's leaking a bunch of oil and the brakes don't seem to be working very good. So we're gonna attack those issues. I'd also like to lower the rear a little more for aesthetics, and also it might help it drive a little better because it's kind of squirrely. All right, so we have giant holes. We have riveted in pieces. We have this area right here is so beat in out of shape. It might have caved real hard there and then they knocked it out and it just was still just so stretched. This we'll call the love triangle, and it is a piece that's welded in that's not the shape. It's like overlapping like that much, and it's just making up this odd little piece. We have gas welding here, and this is just a mess. Look at those. That's where I haven't even cleaned out the filler because it's so deep. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of work from the back of the fender forward, because this and this are going to have something to say about how this goes. And then I just have a few things, littler things back here to fix. So I think that's how I'm gonna start. All right, got her in there. I have to say, it's all right. I don't know exactly what that was supposed to look like because it was so crinkled, but I think that's gonna work. Well, I know it's gonna work because I'm leaving it there. I had to cut this side again to get it to fit right. It was just a little bit long, and it's hard to kind of say when you make the bends on both ends and you're gonna curve it. It's hard to say how long it's gonna be, you know. I did take my tape measure and wrap it around that contour that we made there. Still ended up being a little bit different. This one ended up lining up great. And let's show you the, got a nice little gap there. Shoot. Shoot. Ain't nothing but nothing. Made sure to get that pin up through there. Nope, can't see it. Yeah, get that pin up through there. sprayed. Got to get her out of here tonight in order to put the flex truck in for safekeeping tonight. But we're gonna go home for a little bit and eat a sandwich and come back and unmask, put on wheels, get it back out of here for the weekend. Probably bring it back in tomorrow, work on it tomorrow, because we're down to, let's check. It is the 27th, so I have about 1 week. Yeah, almost 2 weeks before we gotta be there. So we're okay. I gotta get those rear fenders done, and that's gonna be a bear, but I kinda took care of the mechanical stuff first. My fan water pump alternator belt is squealing. I think these old Fords, they had a bigger V in the water pump and sometimes crank pulley, but on this one I think the crank pulley is the correct V. I think they call it a V5, which is a standard automotive belt. But on one of my old Y blocks on my 56 Mercury pickup, it had a wider belt. I had to go with an implement belt in order for it to be the right V. And so I think the crank pulley's right and the alternator's right, but that water pump is a different type of V. And so I'm gonna try to tighten it up, maybe switch it to a smaller belt, see what we got there. So there's a few things, but then I gotta get the front clip back on, get the rear fenders stripped, worked, sandblasted, body worked, painted, and put on. So there's some stuff to do, but I think we'll be okay. All right, cup holders, fans, and now a horn. Holy cow. Lap of luxury here. Rust and luxury. Luxury and rust. And then trunk here, I made our little wood covers that would originally have been in here to cover up all your tools and oils, whatever moonshine you're running or whatever else. Let's see, there it is. But yeah, now when we're sleeping in here, we don't have to have our heads in the oil buckets. That's about it. Picked up some floor mats. Jared did this nice little install on the relay fuse, because it needs a high amperage, so it just Jesus criminy, scared the crap out of me.
That's because you laughed at me earlier when I dropped it.
He accidentally honked it and he dropped his wrench. It was pretty funny. But yeah, so it's high amperage to right there, and then it can come off. So pretty cool. Well, it's time to go here with old Clip Clop. It's time to get to Bohoff. We're gonna leave here tonight. It starts to cool off because it is like 108 out there or something, and I'm trying to do test drives down the interstate and whatnot. Oh, my back is just killing me. It's really hard to focus on anything. Well, our adventures of last night was one giant white bird. It was all white. We almost hit him. We kind of hit him. He got hit a little bit. But he came down, swooped down, and hit like the corner edge of the roof. And I think he survived, but it most definitely took the wind out of him. And there's something else interesting that happened. Oh, our tailpipe's closed up. We were getting gas just after I talked to you at Bear Valley, and when we were going in through there, I have the corks kind of half off on the lake pipes, side pipes, and when we hit the cement pad was so different than the gravel around it that it closed them up, like they hit and closed them off, and so it closed off the exhaust. And so like we get on the road and I'm like, it sounds different. So I asked Britt, she's all, yeah, it sounds different. So we pull over and like the pipes are almost closed, and so they're just spitting out of there and doing a tit-tit-tit-tit-tit. And so there was that. Is there anything else? We really want to send prayers out for our buddy Danny that we're building the airport limo for. I really hope he gets better. He's such a good friend. I just love him. And he's in the hospital right now, and we're really praying that he's just going to be okay. I don't even want to think about losing him. So hopefully he's good. And we're just out of Salina, Utah, and we're gonna head up, and then we cut off I-70 and go up on 10. And yeah, keep it on trucking. So we pulled in late last night, this morning, 2 a.m. and we ended up doing 27 quarts of oil, and the dime and JB steel weld, the little putty stuff, and ended up holding that on there. The what else? It was a long, hard ride, you know. But we'll take Clip Clop into the shop. I think I can do that oil rear main seal with just taking off the pan, and I think I can do that. I think it's possible anyways. And you know, we'll get on with it. But awesome drive. Bohuffs was awesome. The dance was awesome. The show was awesome. It was great. Good times.
All it takes is one job, oh yeah. All it takes is one job.